Hello, and welcome back to Star Wars Minute. It's the daily podcast where we analyze, scrutinize, and celebrate the Star Wars movies 1 minute at a time. I'm Pete the Retailer from PeteTheRetailer.com.
That must make me Alex Robinson from AlexRobinson.fun.
And I'm Josiah Robinson from the podcast How Star Wars Is It?
And I'm Mike Gospel, also from How Star Wars Is It?
Nice, yeah. Welcome back, you two. The How Star Wars Is It crew. Yeah. We're going to find out how Star Wars is the end of Star Wars. Minute 132. We're not there yet. We're getting there. Minute 132 is what we're talking about today. It starts with Rey burying some priceless family heirlooms in the backyard. And it ends with Rey seeing spooky twin ghosts. Ooh. It's like The Shining.
This feels very appropriate because we are in spooky season right now. I'm not sure when these episodes are going up, but very appropriate.
Prime spooky season.
So we start off with Forceberry. Forceberry, my favorite monster cereal. No, she uses the new Force power, which is to bury something using the Force. That's what I meant. Not B-U-R-Y, not...
Right, not Forceberry Farm.
So, do you think Anakin used the same trick to bury Shmi, who theoretically was buried feet from here?
Right there. He's gonna. There's a bunch of people too, right? Didn't.
Klieg.
When he went back, Klieg is there too. So, I'm surprised she's not just finding bones, nonstop bones, because Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru probably somebody buried them maybe right there. So
they were picked clean by vultures.
Yeah. You know how they're in the. This is a weird reference, but you know how in the Toy Story movies, at the end of the Toy Story movies, they would have animated bloopers that were bloopers, but they had just made them on purpose. I wish we'd had some of those for this, of Rey doing a Force digging and be like, oh, there's a corpse. Oh, there's a corpse. And finally finding the right spot. And they're like, all right, reset. Go ahead, Daisy. Here's the good spot.
She does another one. She moves the sand away, and it was Finn, and he's like, Rey, I wanted to tell you. He's like, buries him back up.
Wait a minute. When you said,
we'll never let you have that
When
moment.
you said, all right, Daisy, I think we got another shot. Are you implying that there actually were bodies buried there, and that not Rey wasn't finding them, Daisy Ridley is finding the bodies?
I'm saying Star Wars is famous for its practical effects.
We got to do a scene where she finds some skeletons here. So go, make some skeletons happen. You know what I mean?
Some skeletons.
The less I know, the better.
What are you telling me to do?
All I'm saying is there better be skeletons there.
Why is she burying them?
Man!
So the Jawas don't get them.
But why leave them here at all? Why not use them for her students, or put them they belong in a museum?
Yeah, put them in a little compartment in the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah,
that way Han and Leia and Luke could all be together in a sense. There's Han's ship and Leia and Luke. And,
I forgot it's part of her scavenger hunt that we're going to see in the next movie. So question answered already.
Yeah, the next thing she's going to do is make a map, but it's going to get cut up into multiple different pieces that she will then hide elsewhere in the galaxy.
Of course.
Yeah.
Here's what I would have done.
And we'll all find it in the Jedi Survivor 3 or whatever.
That's right. Let's get that petition going. Bring it back. Well, here's what I would have done. I would have had a close-up of Rey's hand holding the two lightsabers. And then she would have been handing them to someone, and that's when you would have realized that in that shot there was a huge time jump, and Rey is now 40 years old, and she's passing these on to other students of the Force.
Wow.
That's what I would do. But
all right,
and it's Broom Boy.
Oh yeah.
He's broom man. I'll use my broom.
Yeah.
Well, that's how he's now 20 years old, but he's holding a broom and he throws it away and grabs the lightsaber. Just so you know who he is.
No, he would ride around.
He's got the ring still.
This for 15 years.
He's still got the ring. That's the thing.
The ring with the cool camera aperture.
Yeah.
The ring is the thing.
Did they ever sell those rings? I think they just. I don't know.
You've been to. I assume that Galaxy's Edge is the zenith for anything that is sold Star Wars. It would be sold there.
Maybe. I don't know.
I imagine
going
there's some.
there in October. It is October. I'm going there this month to Galaxy's Edge for
October.
the first time. I'm very excited.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
Yeah, I'm planning it right now. You're away.
Got those
Which
tickets
edge of
to
the
that
galaxy?
cruise.
The galaxy's eastern
Yeah,
edge or
oh,
western
gosh.
edge?
Oh yeah, it's true.
I'm going to the eastern edge in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one's better, but I'm going there, so we'll see.
I've heard different opinions about which one is better. I think the main thing about the Florida one is that you can drink more there. So,
And I am an adult who can drink, so that might be
Exactly.
fun.
I thought the Florida one, someone said they do a better job of making it immersive. Like when you're there, you can't see anything else, but when you're in the Disneyland, because it's smaller, you can see like a roller coaster go
sure.
outside. But is that, I don't know if I've never been to either, so I can't.
I think I heard the opposite. I think they did a better job of isolating it in the
Showbiz Town.
for some reason. I don't know. Yeah,
Okay.
because there's
one
like
of them
a
is better.
twist turn. That's
I'll come
to
back
me.
on
That's
the
one of the
show
most
and give my
magical
full
parts
review.
is going into here in LA, going to the one where you just kind of go through a thing and all of a sudden like Disneyland fades away. So you get that like relief of like, oh God, no screaming, just kind of no more fun. And you walk through a
No more
thing
fun.
and then it just becomes Star Wars and you're like, oh yeah, now I'm in Star Wars. Now
That's
Yeah.
cool.
That does sound cool.
I want to go back to Forceberry for a second.
Okay.
It bothered me at first because I was like, we don't need more like force powers and this is annoying. And then I realized it's just moving a whole bunch of little tiny rocks. And I was like,
That's
okay,
her
all right, I guess that's
expertise.
within the purview. Yeah,
It's a scale
it
issue.
is just
yeah.
it's just telekinesis applied in a very small like level as opposed to the big normal pushing that we see
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So
I'm kind of
it's
okay
a cool
with it.
it's a cool visual. It looks neat.
Yeah.
It seems lazy to me.
I don't know if yeah.
Like, it's right there. You're already kneeling on the ground. It's not like you're saving
Yeah.
that much.
Yeah.
Making the hole, I can understand. You'd want the force to do that, but burying it, come on.
Well,
Maybe she's sick
there
of
isn't a
sand.
hole, right?
What's
Isn't
that?
that the whole thing?
Right.
There isn't a hole. She's like making the hole as it goes down, right? It's
I
not
thought
like she
she had-
dug a hole and then.
Okay, yeah, I guess it's more like that. I assume that there was a little bit of a hole, and she was kind of like, yeah, but yeah, you're probably right.
it's
She's
like
probably just.
She set them both down and then they sink as
Okay.
the sand goes woo
Mhm.
and then it recovers as they go down.
Right.
All right. All right.
So,
So, Pete, getting
And
back
it's-
to the
and you're right, it's lazy.
getting back
Right.
to the 1,000, she's lifting 1,000 tiny little rocks as part of her
Mhm.
thing. Would you accept that if it was scaled up? Like if Rey was holding 1,000 regular rocks, would you be like, okay, she did the
well,
sand,
didn't we see that? I thought that was the end of The Force Awakens. I mean, The Last Jedi, right?
Mhm.
right? But
She
that was
lifted
just
all
like
those rocks out of the way.
20 rocks. I mean, if she was lifting like as many rocks as she's lifting sand in the sea, is what I'm saying.
Like 100,000 rocks.
Yeah, like
Like-
an asteroid field's worth
Yeah,
of
if
rocks.
she moved an asteroid field completely out of the way,
Yeah.
would that
That's
be,
gonna happen. That's gonna
That's it,
happen.
that is going to happen.
That'd be like what's that game? The Force Unleashed. They always
Yeah.
talk about how kind of overpowered that character gets. Like he can bring a Star Destroyer out of space or whatever.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, those
eventually.
games were fun, especially if you played them on the Wii because you had to actually use your Wiimote as a lightsaber and a lot of moving around. Very sweaty game on the Wii. Very sweaty.
Star Wars exercise is.
The first two letters of sweaty are SW. Star Wars.
Now
Oh, there's a tie-in right there.
Sweat.
Swoop.
A new Wii game. The first
Right.
new Wii game in years.
Yeah.
We finally
What I love
finished
about
it,
that-
everybody.
Is that it would look like, does that say Star Wars Eat? Because it would be SW
Yes, exactly.
and Star
It's the
Wars
opposite.
letters, and then the word Eat. Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
opposite.
Well, and Mike, you say that it's be the first new Wii game, but they still released Just Dance for the Wii.
Oh.
When they come out with new Just Dance games, they come out on Wii, or at least they did a couple of years ago. I'm not sure if they still do because there's so many like nursing homes and places like that that just have Wiis,
Right.
and Just Dance is a very popular game, so they're just like keep pumping it out, give them to the nursing homes, make sure they have something fun to do.
That's
Wiis.
interesting.
Wheeze.
They have a lot of Wiis.
Yeah, at the nursing homes.
Well, we see Rey's new lightsaber here. Her fancy new
Yes.
lightsaber.
Yeah,
Yellow
Yeah.
blade.
Yeah.
which yellow, it's cool.
It is. Again, I'm like,
Uh-oh. I'm
do
frozen.
I am I just excited that I'm a fan being serviced here, or is this like genuinely? Because this is totally like flashback. You know, like the first lightsaber I had was yellow because it was like the old like Kenner like inflatable like lightsaber because they were matching it off of the same
Luke's
reason Luke,
lightsaber
the toy Luke had a lightsaber. Yeah, so it was like yellow is like a prime like that's a. They're going all the way back, and this is just kids playing with their toys. So like, am I just excited because I'm in on it, or is it like genuinely interesting? Hard to tell.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Now, I know this was a big discussion kind of at the moment, like on the internet. When she first flicks it on, there's a little quick flash of blue and green.
Yeah.
Do we have any thoughts on this? I don't. I have no feelings about it.
Yellow and blue make green.
I didn't know that.
But,
right.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just there because she did something with her kyber crystal to honor her Jedi masters and blah 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 blah. That's what I'm guessing. I didn't notice it good either.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either.
I didn't either. I just saw.
Just make it up.
People talk about it on YouTube or whatever. I
noticed
seen
it, but just now. So,
yeah.
Not at the time. Only going through it minute by minute. I was like, wait a minute, was that blue?
Yeah.
I'm in favor of there being more light saber colors. I mean, why not? And it'll hopefully help the problem Pete was complaining about, which is where you have a blue on blue lightsaber battle in a blue background. And hopefully, if you start introducing more colors into it, then that'll eliminate that problem. And it's totally in line with the whole like Disney era thing of like Rey defines her own lightsaber. She makes her own rules and stuff like that. So it seems of the things that I don't like about the movie, this is not one of them. It seems kind of harmless, but
yeah, it's fine.
And a lot of people seem to like it.
Every Jedi should have multiple lightsabers. So that if you show up to a lightsaber fight and you have the same color, you can be like, let me just change real fast.
Just like a setting.
Like Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like a knob where you
or
can
it's
just
like,
change
setting.
Yeah.
Like a sports team where it's like if they end up like, we're not going to have like blue on blue, so somebody's got to change.
We're going to use our away lightsabers.
Whoever turns their lightsaber on first is white because they're the home team, and then the other person is whatever their light color is.
Yeah.
Sports. So
and then they have the kind of alternate third lightsaber color for just special occasions, like every other Saturday or something.
Old timer night.
Yeah.
That's when all the old Jedi's come.
Well, I had two things. One is I want to just talk about this scene briefly from the Star Wars Rise of Skywalker Expanded Edition by Ray Carson, New York Times bestselling author.
Yeah.
And I also want to talk about something that's not in this movie or in this scene. But I just, real quick, just wanted to talk about when Rey stood pulling out her own lightsaber. She ignited it. Her lightsaber glowed white gold.
Okay.
Right.
She gazed at it a long moment. It was single-bladed with an outer casing and emitter salvaged from her quarterstaff, which it looks kind of like that. We can get that idea from this. The final result felt like the exact inverse of the lightsaber held by the dark Rey of her vision, and she loved it.
Aww.
It was beautiful. So it fit so perfectly in her hand, and she would carry it with her forever.
Protest too much.
Yeah.
And she loved it.
And she loved it.
Why don't you marry it, Rey? Jeez.
I was kind of surprised we didn't see Rey with a double lightsaber, like staff. Does anyone else think that?
A, there's the potential still, but then she was so scared by the dark Rey vision who had the double lightsaber. The kind of scissor
but she
blade.
should be past that now. She's like, she's succeeded in her journey.
She's had growth.
Yeah. I don't know.
And she loved it.
And she loved it.
That is so good.
She should have turned and loving it.
They probably didn't want.
She should have looked right at the camera.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. They probably didn't want any hint that she could be evil, so they made it as they didn't want anyone being like, "Oh, is she still a Palpatine?" So they just said, "Let's make it as straightforward, as not a red lightsaber, and only one blade." Because generally, we only see bad guys with two blades on their lightsabers.
Yeah.
Except for Knights of the Old Republic, Bastila.
Oh, right. Well,
it's a great game.
You trump me.
And I remember sorry. I think she had a yellow lightsaber too, which was double bladed. I feel like there were too many fan theories about her lightsaber being double bladed that when they actually gave her a lightsaber, they were probably like, okay, well, if we make it double, they're going to be like, that was our idea.
Right.
It was like
Like,
John
see, they listened
Krasinski
to
as
us.
Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do not want to give the internet any satisfaction at all.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They already did too much with this movie, so they probably were like, we got to draw a line somewhere.
Right
One
down
thing I
the
did
middle of
notice
the lightsaber.
is it sounds different. It doesn't have the same hum that the lightsabers we've seen up until this point. When she turned it on, it didn't have that same sound. At least it didn't sound the same to me, but
Yeah.
your mileage may vary.
Did it sound rougher, more like Kylo Ren's? Maybe that's like
No, it sounded more like fluorescent lights or something. It had like just a slightly different pitch to the hum. It still had a hum, but it was like a slightly different. Anyway, people can listen to it on their own. And
maybe she's using new technology. Like
Let us know
things
in
have
the
changed in the
comments.
last 30 years.
Like a Philips LED white gold lightsaber.
Oh, totally a new model.
It's
You'll
a
love
smart
it.
lightsaber. She
Yeah.
can just control it with her voice too. She can be like, lightsaber, turn on. Lightsaber, turn on.
Turn on yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
On
is there a setting where you
lightsaber.
can have it like filter through all the different colors, like on a
Yeah.
rotating thing? Go to a rave with it.
Rave.
Yeah.
There you go, Jinx.
Yeah, just Jinx, Robinsons.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. You must be a dyad.
We are dyad. The Robinson dyad.
Now, I want to also talk about another lightsaber. So, speaking of opportunities for different colored lightsabers, I just happened to be reading this today because we were looking at, spoiler alert, later in the week, we'll be looking at some of the names in the credits, perhaps. And I was looking at things that people did, and I ended up backing up and reading the summary, not the whole thing, because I find the whole thing a bit hard to get through. It's just purely on a focusing on one thing at a time. But I read the summary of the Duel of the Fates screenplay, rejected screenplay.
Colin
what's his name?
Trevorrow.
Colin Trevorrow and the other guy. So I don't have his name written down now.
Connolly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Connolly.
Derek
But
Connolly?
one thing that the first time I remember reading that is that in that Hux, who had been Supreme Leader for the most of the movie, and there's a little bit of a time jump. So he's been a Supreme Leader for years, and then all this stuff starts to fall apart, and he's disgraced. And basically, in his bunker, he commits seppuku with a purple lightsaber, which seems an interesting choice. I'm kind of, I don't know. I want to see what leads up to that. I guess I should go back and maybe look at it, but to be like, well, why out of the blue? Does he just have one on his desk? What's the deal?
Yeah,
He's
if I
force-sensitive.
remember correctly, his characterization in that script was he really wanted to be able to use the Force. We see him multiple times, try to use the Force like a kid in their bedroom, and he can't. And I don't remember how because I've read that now multiple times, and it really alludes to him wanting to sort of following Jedi history. So I imagine sort of like a Thrawn type. He had Jedi stuff around. Weird.
Right. Yeah.
A weird
Intriguing.
idea.
Yeah. But we missed out on seeing another color lightsaber, and that's always disappointing.
Is that supposed to be Mace Windu's lightsaber?
Probably.
Because then we can
The
check
fact
that
that they
one off.
made
We
it-
know where that one is.
Yeah, we know that.
Right.
Right.
Get the stamp on our booklet.
Yeah.
The fact that it was purple
Yeah, Hux-
makes me think it has to be Mace Windu's, because why else? That's the
Yeah.
only purple lightsaber we've seen. It would be misleading. Him specifically this is not Mace Windu's lightsaber. You'd have to clarify.
And right before
he
he does it, I think he says, "This party's over." I might be wrong,
there you
but
wow. Peace
Sadly.
out.
It's like, this party's over.
yeah.
Hux out.
Hux out.
And then we get the nosy neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
tour guide.
nosy old lady.
Right.
Then, of course, everybody remembers the nosy neighbor from everybody's favorite Star Wars spinoff, The Larses, where it's just Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, and she was the nosy neighbor who'd come by and talk to them. Every
Well, they
He's
did adopt
always
that.
just
So much
peeking
funnier
over the
in that
fence.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You can only see the top of her head.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had to know. So one of my favorite things, in fact, Josiah and I, when we have guests on our
I know
show,
what
will
you're
ask
gonna
them,
say.
what is your favorite thing about Star Wars. And the thing I say is knowing names of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not know this woman's name, so I was like, I gotta look this up. And I will also say I have your podcast in large part to thank for a lot of my knowledge, especially that of Paul Treatham. But I looked it up. I imagine maybe some of the rest of us have too. Her name is Unidentified Tatooine Elder.
Yeah.
Her parents really had foresight when they named her that.
Yeah.
And she's so insistent upon Rey giving her whole name.
Yeah.
Right. Because Rey's very impolite, and it's like, "What's yours?" Nope, we don't.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, on this show though, we tend to see those as opportunities because everything is so well staked out that anytime there's somebody who's got a line or featured prominently, but they don't have a name, then we like to come up with one. So what can we call the nosy neighbor? Are we gonna Tucker? Do you want to? I'll tell you the actress name if that helps. If we want to do some Tuckerization,
I'd rather fall back on the original New Hope version where they made the dialogue dictate the person's name. You know, like Dan Gier or whatever those other people are. So I feel like we should come up with one that's tied into the dialogue.
Her name is Who Are You? It's spelled weird.
Right. Hooryu.
Yeah. Who are you?
I like that.
Who are you, Reyhu?
Reyhu.
Yeah.
Census taker.
Reyhu.
I take it as a I don't know how else to take it but a slap in the face that she is not riding an EOP. Come on. We can't throw the prequels one little bone. They totally diss the prequels at every chance they get in these films. So
it's even worse too because the animal is apparently an Etobi. ETOBI, which even sounds pretty close to that.
Not an EOP, it's an Etobi. It's slightly different. And they're apparently they're native to Pisana, which is also weird. It's just like JJ referencing his own stuff again, maybe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why are they here on Tatooine? Very strange.
Regardless, I awesome nightmare beast. I love its sideways mouth and all that. Like, I would love to see this thing, but like, if you're on Tatooine, just be riding an EOP. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the perfect opportunity for a fart joke.
Yeah. Reyhu.
Be useless.
This is also a pain point for me with this movie and also Mike and I have talked about it on our show before, is like, why in this like infinite universe, in this huge galaxy, galaxy.
Universe is huge too.
Universe in Star Wars. Yeah, universe is huge too. In this galaxy of Star Wars, we like have several people in this one movie that are obsessed that like are like, what is your last name?
Right.
And it's like, why does everybody in this universe have a first and last name? Because that seems weird.
Yeah.
Because like there's alien species and maybe there's more than two names. Like you could have three names,
Greedo.
could have just one.
Yeah, what's like, Greedo's last name?
Yeah.
Rodian.
Yeah, what's Greedo's last name? Jabba the Hutt. Like that's just a like honorific. So like why are there multiple people in this one movie that are like, no, you can't have just one name.
Right.
Just not done.
You have to have another name.
Especially since we also know sometimes your name can just be given to you by a customs officer.
Right, yeah.
So,
like, why does it matter if you can just be randomly? Well, I guess maybe they're being, like, in general, they're making assumptions based on species. They're like, oh, okay, near humans and humans, those all have first names and last names. They like to do that. So we'll
right.
Although all the people asking are also
answer
humans.
For it.
Does she also just like appear like Batman?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, like Rey is sitting there like basically almost like making lightsaber noises with her mouth. Like she totally thinks she's alone, and all of a sudden there's a nosy neighbor.
Yeah. We missed the line or the sort of reaction of Rey going like, no!
Right, yeah. Drops the lightsaber, it's like, and they go off.
My no prize answer for that would be that what's her name again? who are you?
Reyhu.
Who are you, Reyhu? Probably saw the Millennium Falcon landing at their, and then she's like, they probably don't get many spaceships landing, in people's yards.
Well,
out
even
here,
if they
so-
do, it's like, on my block, there's the old ladies who just sit staring out the window, and if a car goes by, they're like, oh, who's that?
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody gets out of a car, and they're like, they go post something on, I'm sure on Space Next Door, there's like weird, suspicious young teenager
Suspicious
at the
Carillion freighter on Tatooine.
at the old haunted Lars place.
Yeah.
I wish they had established her in the Obi-Wan series. That would have been a perfect time to, you know what I mean, to show this character as like a young, young vital person. I'm sure she had the Force. So
Another chance for them to digitally de-age an actor, which they love to do.
they do.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Speaking of the actor, I didn't have it in me to go look all the way through because her name is Anne Firbank, Firbank, and she's been acting for forever. And
time.
Part of me was just like, I bet that she has been in one. Because she's British, did a lot of British kind of TV and stuff like that. I bet she's been in at least one thing with an actor who also appeared in each of the trilogies.
Oh yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like I just
Yeah.
going all the way back. But the two closest Star Wars connections that I found with her are one, she was in an episode of Space 1999, which is interesting.
Are you asking how Star Wars is she?
How Star Wars?
Yeah.
Is
That's all right. Because Pete, that's our show.
I'm just saying. Well, the other one, and this is special to a certain time and place. But she played Lady Bradley, I think, in Anna and the King. And how is Anna and the King? That's the adaptation of the King and I with Jodie Foster and
The non-musical King and I.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, what would make this better if we got rid of those songs?
Yeah, get
They
rid of the fun
Pygmalioned
stuff.
it.
Yeah, exactly. So how is that Star Wars connected, you might ask? Every time we went to go see The Phantom Menace, we saw the thing beforehand of, so here's some things that Fox is working on. And it was Fight Club and Anna and the King. And I think there was a third one in there, but I saw that like promo thing, that like long, like behind the scenes trailer thing for Anna and the King, like, at least a dozen times. So,
So she's
These are
got
the kind
sort
of
of like,
tenuous connections we look for.
yeah,
Exactly.
like if we were to score her on how Star Wars is it, she'd get something in the realm of like Meet Joe Black might
Right,
get,
yeah.
like a, which is
I
a
remember
movie.
Pete, you told me when she showed up on screen, you stood up and you're like, that's the lady from Anna and the King.
Yeah,
coming soon from Fox.
yeah.
20 years ago. You guys have been doing these last couple minutes. So like we heard dialogue. Is it the first dialogue in a while, or is it just the first dialogue since this like scene started?
There was some dialogue, I think, in minute 130. What are we in now? 32? In 130, there was definitely
32.
dialogue.
Was there?
It was just like, yay. You don't think so?
Yeah, I mean, does that count? I think there was just kind of like background chatter.
Right.
Like when's the last time somebody actually like talked to somebody else?
Well, we know C-3PO says, did you hear that? To R2-D2.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Of course.
Maybe that was the last line
Yeah.
other than Rey saying Rey Skywalker. Oh, that
Yeah, it
infuriates
could be.
me because they were so close
I
to
know.
having the first line, the last line of this movie and the first line of the first Star Wars movie match up. Oh,
Which I'm sure was intentional. I'm sure they wanted to do
Yeah.
that, and then they're like, "Oh, but let's throw in this thing with Rey."
clunk
And
it up.
I'm sure people were just like, "No."
I didn't even realize that so I will admit I've seen this movie I think maybe once in theaters, and we maybe watched it a second time when we did
We
our
watched it again when we did a
like a follow-up
commentary
episode
for
on
it.
it. Yeah, but it's been a very long time, and
Long time.
never would have pulled that 3PO line was perhaps a reference to like the very first line in the very first movie. That's awesome.
That's why we're here. I mean, George Lucas kind of did it because in Revenge of the Sith, C-3PO gets the last line. And it's in the very same spot that we see him when he says the first line in Star Wars. So that part still
Sure.
works. So
That's cute.
um,
It is
Wait.
like poetry. It does rhyme.
See?
That's right.
And this is like almost. This one, it's just like they get to the last, you're expecting a rhyme, and then it's like, nope,
Yeah.
the ship that they were in both of those things, we just blew it up off screen for no reason. And then C-3PO says the line, and then after that, we're going to throw in another part with some, like, the nosy neighbor for some reason. It's just like, wait,
right.
Is it rhyming if it's the exact same words?
That's a good question.
I guess. I mean, you have to ask, yeah.
That's like a Yoda. That's like a Yoda question.
Yeah.
Rhyming, is it?
What is the sound of one word rhyming?
Oh, wow. Dude.
Wow.
Well, speaking of Yoda, we get some Force ghosts here. Not Yoda, but Force ghosts, nevertheless, including Princess Leia making her debut as a Force ghost.
Looking stunning.
Looking stunning.
She
Also,
just evaporated
looking around,
moments ago.
She's probably going like, where are we?
Yeah.
She's like,
She's just
"You
freaking
grow
out.
up?
She's like, what's going on? Where am I? What is this? Where's Maz? Where's Maz?
What a poodle."
If there's a bright center of the galaxy, this is the planet that's farthest from.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, I'm going to guess this is a totally CGI Princess Leia that we see here. Or do you think it's Kelconics
That would make
with
sense.
with a face on it?
No.
I wish if they were going to give us a CGI Princess Leia, at least give us the buns. Come on. We've come this far. You can't go
Come
to the classic
Yeah.
buns. She should totally be having those on the side of her head.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
what about, do you think it should have been like old like farmer boy Luke too?
Yeah, give us that feathery blonde
Yeah.
hair.
Well, I mean,
Still
if you're using
old Mark Hamill, feathery blonde hair.
Anakin seems to be
Yeah.
the only one who's been able to pull off the "I'm going to look younger than when I died" trick as being a
Yeah.
Force ghost. So, it would still be mature Princess Leia, but she would have the buns. So that's the only.
Well, he
That's
used the technicality when he went to the Force Ghost like DMV. It's like, oh, well, technically, Anakin Skywalker died when I became
Yeah.
Darth Vader, and so
Yeah.
Yeah. And Luke did make
So
himself
I
look
should
You think
younger
the rest of the
when he didn't fight Kylo Ren. So that was
right,
kind of
but,
able to
but
manipulate.
that killed him. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think the rest of the Force ghosts got jealous when Anakin showed up and they're like, "You look
Yeah.
great.
Marvelous.
You got to teach us your secret."
Yeah.
It's the blood of younglings.
Right.
They're like, "Oh no!"
He just has a really good Force Ghost eye cream. Like
Oh,
a
yeah.
night
Yeah,
a night
yeah.
mask and other like
He's like, "It's all about your regimen."
He's like,
It's that
"Guys,
jade roller.
you gotta drink more
Yeah.
water."
See now I know, Mike, you're all about the lotion in this week, so that's your
Mark
go-to.
loves these
I know.
lotions, his lotions and cream.
Okay, we gotta make sure that for the next couple of days I manage to work in lotion in some way or another.
I don't think it'll be a problem. So you guys have strong feelings about Force Ghosts showing up? Is it cool? Is it corny? Did you want more Force Ghosts? Less Force Ghosts? Any thoughts?
Go ahead, Mike. if you have
Well,
something to
I
say.
think it is a little corny. It's the sort of like we are looking at this movie on its own. I feel about as strongly about it as I do about the yellow lightsaber. It's okay. We don't find out what she says her name is in this minute. I'm on
that's
the
true.
edge of my seat, in fact, trying to figure out
doesn't
what
even say
she
the
is going to
first
say
part,
to
right?
this lady.
She doesn't even say
Yeah,
the first
yeah.
part.
She does say Rey.
Oh, okay.
Right,
we
yeah,
got
she does say
ourselves
Rey.
we got ourselves a match game on our hands. We should totally match game this
Oh,
stuff.
right, yeah.
And guess what name she's gonna come up with.
Yeah.
So let's all
She says that's why this lady's name is Reyhu, because she says Reyhu.
Right.
because she
Oh,
already
right.
said
You're
her
right.
name's Rey.
Yeah.
You're right. My last note is that it would have been funny if Force Ghost Luke and Force Ghost Leia started Force Ghost making out. And there's no rules in Force Ghost heaven.
Right.
Listen, whenever I was watching this minute, I was like, divorced from context, looking at this scene, it does look like Luke and Leia are married.
It
and
does
not brother and
seem like
sister.
her parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they're her parents. Like, I was like, if I showed
Yeah.
this to Charlie, my girlfriend, who hasn't seen this movie, she would probably say, "Oh, cool, her parents, right?" And I would be like, "No, not even close."
Yeah.
That's what you'd think, right? But no.
Yeah, and she well, and again we won't say what name she ends up choosing, but Leia is the person she has a relationship with, and Leia has never gone by the title surname of this film, let's just say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that I will say I've said this on our show I think before too, but I've watched Jenny Nicholson, the YouTuber Jenny Nicholson's like assessment of this movie probably twice as many times as I've watched this movie, and my opinions kind of fall in lockstep with hers. But yeah, like she mentions the same thing. Like she really could have picked any Star Wars name, and it would have made as much sense as any other.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what she picks.
Which we won't say what she picked.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm on the edge of my seat too.
All right. Well, we'll pause on that cliffhanger. Yeah. Hopefully, you guys can come back tomorrow. We'll discuss what she actually picks.
I think
we'd love to.
What then? Hooryu Reyhu finally gets her answer tomorrow.
Hooryu
Reyhu.
But in the meantime, let's see. Hey, you Alex mentioned that we're doing our coverage on the Patreon of things. That's how you can get your updates after we wrap up this movie. We'll be doing stuff over on Patreon on a regular basis, but we are also going to be doing some YouTubing. We've done a little bit here and there, but we've got some original content planned after we do this. So make sure that you go subscribe to our channel, I think they call it. We're going to have to learn all new terminology for this video stuff, but go to StarWarsMinute.com/YouTube, and it'll get you to our channel. You can subscribe there, and we'll have some new stuff that won't be available in podcast form. We think it'll just be videos that you have to watch or at least play in the background on loop over and over again, so we keep getting monetization money. So
this is all new to me. I don't know what I've never heard any of this before. So.
Alex doesn't know that we make money off this. Don't tell him. But in the meantime, we will be back only scant hours away. We'll be back tomorrow for a brand new Star Wars Minute.
Star Wars Minute.
Star Wars Minute.
Star Wars Minute.